Hello and welcome back to the next video. In this video we're going to be discussing HTML tags. So let's begin by saying exactly what is a tag. So I'll give a first example, and I've created a new HTML page. I've opened Dreamweaver. If you need a review for that, I discussed that in the last video, so go ahead and watch that video again if you're unsure about how to do any of this. I'm going to ignore some of this other stuff for now. It's needed, but it's going to be basically the same every time. So when you create a new HTML page in Dreamweaver, all that's going to be filled in. So let's just hop over to in the body here. So let's say I'm typing a piece of text into a page. And again, I'm in the split view, but I went over this in one of the previous videos. There's the code view, design view. I'm going to do split view, so on the left I have the HTML code, and on the right I will see what exactly comes out. So we've just got a piece of plain text. Say I wanted to make it bold, what would I do? So this is what an HTML tag does. It takes a piece of text, and we'll find out later it doesn't necessarily need to be text. It could be graphics or even other HTML tags, and we can modify those as well. But for now, okay, we wrap it in a bold tag. So you can see there's some brackets, and then there's the B, which means bold. The piece of text we want to modify and apply this HTML tag to. And then there's the end tag. This is pretty common. This is what you'll see. So as you can see, we have the body, and so we have the start of the body, we have our stuff in between, and we have the end of the body. So this is just the common format you're going to see this in. So there's some others. We can make italicized text. We don't really need an exclamation point for that. We go ahead and click over here, so we see the piece of bold text from before. We see a piece of text in italics. And I guess I should note that as you type, this design view isn't automatically updated in real time. You typically come over here, you type in what you need to, and then you click over here, and then it'll update. So we can see our piece of bold text. We can see our piece of text in italics. So I hope that makes sense. There's nothing too deep to look into this. You pretty much you have a tag, which is going to always be of that format. It's going to be some angle brackets with the tag name in between. The stuff in the middle you want to modify, and then the end of the tag. You can combine tags together. So say we want something in bold and also in italics. And we have to make sure to close them in order. I'm going to put a little space between this so you don't get confused about the stuff above and below. We'll discuss that in another video. Ignore it for now. So now we have one that's in bold and italics. There's other ways to accomplish this, but this is kind of one of the original things that you would see in the first HTML standards were bold, italics. There's other ways to accomplish this, and we'll go over that later with CSS. In reality, it's more common to accomplish some of these things with CSS, but sometimes if you just need a bold one-word mid-sentence, you're going to just use the bold tag. But these are some of the easier ones to start off with. So these modify the look and feel of the text. Now there's also ones that just give general information about the text, and so I'll go into one of those now. There's the paragraph tag. And it won't really make sense unless we have a couple of paragraphs. So let's add a couple paragraphs. And we'll make a few sentences with this so it really makes sense what a paragraph does. Okay, now we click over here. Okay, so what we can see is what a paragraph does is it marks a text as a paragraph. So you can see it put all this together in a block, and then it ended the paragraph, and then we started a new paragraph. So if you want to see an example of this, the best is you'll see it in news stories. So I just went to the New York Times and grabbed a news story. So right here, this would be an example of a paragraph, and then this is a paragraph, and then underneath that is a paragraph. So there's other ways to accomplish the look of a paragraph, but if you mark it as a paragraph and then you do things later, like use JavaScript or CSS, or even start using a programming language like PHP or ASP.NET, when you've marked it as a paragraph and you're saying, this is a paragraph, then you can do some programming processing on it and say, I want to do certain things with paragraphs. I want to indent 4 spaces at the beginning of a paragraph. So you can do a lot of things, and that's typical. A lot of these tags I'm showing you right now are the ones that are the oldest and in the original HTML standards. Over the years, the standards have added a lot of things. As far as I know, they haven't really taken away anything or anything of importance, really. So if there's any confusion about the format of a tag or any little detail questions about tags, go ahead and post them in the comments or shoot me an email, and I'll try to respond in the best way possible. So then there's other formatting tags. So as you've noticed, if I type in a sentence and then I put some spaces, and then put some space in between them, I click over here, you can see that it doesn't look exactly like one and the other. In HTML, it's what they would call a new line. So there's a new line in between here. So you type in your sentence, you hit enter, which creates a new line, and then I just hit enter and that creates a new line, and you go over here. Well, what you have to do is mark all your new lines, and there's 2 different styles of tags. There's ones like bold, where you saw before, you open the tag, put in the text, and then close the tag. There's another style of tag that you'll see that's a kind of self-contained tag. So instead of having to open and close, you just do it all in one. So this one is a line break, and then now if we click over here, we can see, and let's add another one over here. So now we've sort of made them match on the left and the right. So those are the 2 types you'll see, and if you're ever, as you're learning, it's okay. It's not really common practice to do this, but technically you can open well, let's see if Dreamweaver will let us. If it'll recognize it. Yeah. So you can actually, this and this are technically the same thing. Not every tag can be self-contained like this. The line break's a special case. There's only a few of them. For example, it wouldn't make a lot of sense if you open and close the bold tag without having any text in it. But for the line break, it does make sense. So those are some common ones. Let me go through some more of the common ones you'll see. This one's more recent. You'll see strong. So that's sort of like a bold. You're saying you want the text to be strong. I wouldn't get into the habit of trying to memorize all these. You'll naturally memorize them just as you use them. Look them up as needed. There's plenty of HTML cheat sheets out there that have the 15 or 20 most common types of tags. Another one would be EM for emphasis. And actually, I should show you guys a trick here. What I do is immediately open and close the tag. That way you can't forget. And that's a sentence with emphasis. And as I said before, I wouldn't try not to get too wrapped up in marking it and then saying this is exactly how it's going to look, because Some of these, like emphasis and strong and paragraph and some of these other ones, are more for using CSS and programming later, which we'll get into that other stuff later. But you may use an emphasis on one part of a page and then it looks away, and then you use it on another part of the page and it looks a different way based on the rules that somebody's set up with CSS on the page. So we'll keep it basic for now. The first assignment is going to be actually to create a page with some links and some basic images, and it'll be a pretty straightforward and simple assignment. I don't want to make it too difficult. So I'm running a little long in this video, so I'm going to stop here, and then in the next video we'll start going over some more advanced features of HTML tags. Thank you.